Hi guys, it's your girl Jocelyn with another word, and today's word we will be discussing job employments within our law enforcement. Dear state of Ohio, and when I say state of Ohio, I mean Butler County, Hamilton, Ohio. We the people want to know, how is it okay that your officers can harass us for no apparent reason with pulling us over, asking our companies, who are they, where are we going, where are we living, and are we in a relationship, instead of asking for license and insurance and telling us why we are pulled over. Instead, your officers are pulling us over, harassing us, stalking us, and just badgering us of who our company is when they see a black male in the car. And when you tell them it's none of their business and you just want to know why you pulled over, well then they say, oh, you're being a smart one, and then they want to make your company get out the car with searching them, and they know that is illegal. They then become to just harass you so much because they think that you're dating a drug dealer when you're actually not. And when you want to explain this to them, it doesn't matter because they are getting away with keep pulling us over and keeping us in the system with paying uncalled for fines. I myself was a witness, and I even took an officer to trial because the officer kept pulling me over and stalking me, harassing me endlessly until they left me with no license and insurance. And they even towed my car when I had license and insurance. One time I had company in a car, and because the police seen that they were males, they pulled me over. And when I asked, why am I being pulled over? The officer told me, you stopped at the stop sign and you used your blinker. And I said, well, what's the problem? And he said, well, you didn't put on your blinker 10 feet before the stop sign. You put your blinker on 5 feet before the stop sign. When that's not enough, the new officers come on the force, and one pulled me over for no apparent reason because of my car, assuming that I date drug dealers, and I wasn't. And he pulled me over, towed my car, and I had license and insurance. And when I took him to trial, even the judge had questioned the officer and asked him, why would you pull her over when she had license and insurance? And that cop didn't have an answer. If you guys want to check out my sibling war videos, I talk a lot about this, of all the harassment and injustice that I was dealing with Hamilton Police Department law enforcement. When this officer just pulled me over for no reason and towed my car with license and insurance, I had clinicals the very next day, an hour and a half away, and I had to be there and couldn't miss it. So I had to pay full fee to get my car out of tow, and I was not reimbursed for that either. And as we all know, the crooked detective framed me for 4 years of my life and convicted me as a felon with falsely arresting me. And while I was in jail miscarrying with no medical assistance, one of their very own COs, and I still have her name, who was also friends with my children's relative, who kind of did not see eye to eye with me. So this lady who was the CO seen me crying and, bleeding through my uniform and having a very challenging time. So she asked me that I want to take a shower in the middle of the night. I want to say it was about 3 a.m. And I told her, yes, I would love to. Like I mentioned, I was bleeding heavy through my uniforms, so I had to wear, a hygiene pad. And so when I threw it in the garbage and, was bathing, she comes in and says, hey, what's this in the garbage? And I said, what you mean? That's my dirty, And she said, no. And she lifted the bag up, and there were food in the garbage under the bag. And I said, ooh, that's disgusting. I don't know who did that. And the porters did that. They were kind of sneaking people in the hole, the food through the garbage can, which was very unsanitizing because I had just changed my dirty hygiene product and threw it in the garbage. And the CO knew that, and she was going to pin that on me until she looked in my eyes and just see that I was going through enough. And she let me go, and she also, disciplined those ladies. But had I been standing up for myself and not going through a trauma of being falsely arrested while miscarrying and just leaving the hospital the day that they framed me and not being able to heal, I guess she had a little compassion. Here, Hamilton, Ohio. And when your dirty little detective framed me, not only did they just frame me, they drew guns to my child's father's head, my head, and my 1-year-old child's head. And they, in fact, made me strip my 1-year-old's diaper off and searched his bottom for drugs. Same law enforcement who has been repeating these behaviors for many years now. Even when I was 17 years old, the law enforcement kicked in my mother's home, drew guns to her, and at the time, my 1-year-old daughter's face, looking for my child's father who didn't even reside in the home with us. And on top of it, they drew guns in my 1-year-old daughter's face. Like, why are you pulling out guns in our baby's face? That is illegal under the Ohio law system. Dear state of Ohio, and when I say state of Ohio, I mean the whole state of Ohio. Why is it that when law enforcement is not on duty, they feel like they don't have to help the citizens of the community? And I myself has been a victim to this behavior, and this happened to me recently, causing me to lose everything that I've worked hard for when this sibling came to my home with refusing to leave, and I went next door to ask one of the 2 sheriffs who live next door for help. And he failed to help me after saying he was going to help me, and he failed to help me, and because he did, it ruined my life that day. And because he failed to help me that day, I've lost everything. Dear state of Ohio, Hamilton Police Department, we the people also want to know, how many cold cases do you guys have aside from unsolved murders? And on top of it, not only are you jumping out on the fathers and keep creating more broken homes, you are now jumping out on our youth, teen children, instead of being a nice mentor to show them leadership. Instead, you are racially profiling, and I myself know this for a fact because my son was jumped out on after being racially profiled, walking down the street, doing nothing, when an officer came, jumped out on him, and arrested him. Even the attorney had also informed my son that he was being racially profiled and that they had no reason to jump out on him with handcuffing him for anything, for just walking down the street and minding his business. And after being in jail for months, that's when the police wanted to finally come up with why they jumped out on him, and their poor excuse was because he had a warrant back in 2018, but he was just released from the youth detention center earlier this year. So why wouldn't they put that on his sentence before he got released? And why are they digging up things from back in 2018 on a child that is no longer called for or even relevant? We the people want to know why you are doing this to our sons. And we're not going to forget how the juvenile system just went against my will and gave him a narcotic drug after I told the nurse not to, after I told the probation officer not to, after I told the judge not to, and the staff not to, and still I got ignored. And after them just doing what they want to do, that wasn't enough, because they then ran the narcotic drug that they were drugging him with under government insurance. And I provided them a copy of my employment insurance because the probation officer said they needed a copy to put on file. But instead, they were putting my son on drug medication and zoning him out without my consent or without my permission. And that is illegal. And when I reached out to an attorney about this during the pandemic, where a lot of people's buttons were pushed, he said, listen here, lady, when the state have your child, they can do what they want. State of Ohio, we want to know, is that true? And I even found out that they were putting my address on the drug medication bottle when they knew that he was in their custody and not at all in mine. And I have proof. Dear Hamilton Police Department, us people of the community wants to know about how many unresolved cold cases are there laying to the side that we still have not have gotten justice for within our family members and our loved ones, because we want to know. I find it weird that our men in the community are not getting justice for the injustice that was brought onto them. And when that's not enough, like I said, you guys are harassing our men and harassing our women until you just build cases falsely against our men, or framing our men into your system to arrest them and cause broken homes. And when that's not enough for you, you then begin to attack our women. And even our women are not getting justice for the criminal and harmful activities that is brought onto them within our community. And we are being failed, even with protection orders. Myself am a victim of overcoming massive abuse. And when I got a 5-year protection order against my abuser, and I would call his probation officer, the probation officer let him out of jail and just told him, if you don't leave that girl alone, I'm going to lock you up next time. And she didn't. And I even showed her messages where he said he was going to put me in the cemetery and blow up my home. Can't make this up. Even with my 5-year protection order, I will call the cops and tell them, hey, he will not leave from in front of my home. He is trying to climb through my window at night. I can't get sleep. I got to go to work. The children waking up. We are scared. We are feared. Oh, we'll find him. One day I go on Facebook and someone was going live. And as they were live, the police were invading a bar within the community. And I see the police officer standing next to my abuser. And that right there let me know I could not trust the law system. And I had to jump out on faith and move to Tennessee because I was no longer protected. Which explains why the rate is so high in the world of black women getting strangled, shot and killed, and beaten by men. Because we are the most underprotected people that there is in the poverty areas. I myself have worked with a beautiful woman and witnessed the most traumatic thing I could even bear with my eyes and my heart, knowing that things are going so far to where home invasions are going on and being swept under the rug, and a very great mother was shot in her face and could have lost her life after being pistol whipped. And she has still yet got her justice for that. They have not investigated anything, and she still has not received any justice, any information, and that went another cold case. And guess what? When that's not enough, this woman is not even being paid for being off of work. She has to heal in this little time. And when I say heal, that means her outer wounds, not her inside wounds of all the traumas that she had to feel after all those moments replaying in her head from that night. To be free from that kind of trauma, she is forced to hurry up and go back to work because bills are not going to be paid, because these low-paying jobs are not going to give her a paycheck until she is able to get back on her feet. Myself was the witness. If you guys want to check out my past videos, denied medical service, left to die in my own home, where it explains where the EMT refused to come in my room and help me with trying to force me to get dressed and walk down a flight of stairs that they could clearly see that I couldn't do, and they left me in a home with refusing me, and I had ovarian cyst the size of 6.5 centimeters that ruptured and the blood was going through my body, and I had a near-death experience because they refused me services. So we are still being ignored. I myself had to use a porta potty. I had to relearn how to walk again. I had to then not properly cure myself or get the proper rest that I needed because I had to hurry up and get back to work because I had to pay my bills and take care of my children for not being compensated for being injured. And nor did I get justice, nor did they pay for what they did, and I even told their chief that I was wanting to press charges and I was wanting to get my justice within the court. I even told the chief of the EMTs, hey, I want to pursue with charges because I want them to pay for what they did. I already didn't get paid for what the detective did to me, and I don't want to let this under the rug either. And it got swept under the rug. So Hamilton Police Department, we the people want to know, if you keep arresting our children's fathers, creating more broken homes, you are failing to protect our women from abuse with also framing us and putting more traumas and abuse on us. You're now jumping out on our children instead of leading by example, and you're also failing the community with so many unsolved cold cases. Don't you think you guys are the reason for our mental illness? Hamilton, Ohio, we the people in the community also want to know, why can't we find jobs? Why are there daycares running out? Why are there baby formula running out of stores? Why are there people shooting up stores? Why is trains falling off the tracks? Why are there so many unsolved murder cases? Why are you guys jumping out on our young youth children? Why are you not protecting us women and even framing us? Why are you framing us? On top of it, why are we not being protected under our law system? And why are you the ones jumping out on us under our law? Hamilton, Ohio, we the people want to know, what do we have to do to get funding and resources for our parents to get ahead? On top of it, we also want to know, why aren't there any organizations where our youth and children can go to after school and on the weekends to hang out and to do activities and festivities? And why aren't there any mentors out here helping our youth in our communities? We want to know. Hamilton, Ohio, us people of the community want to know why our children feel intimidated by you to where when they see you, they either don't like you or they feel like they should take off running. Why aren't you feeling like a mentor to our communities? Dear state of Ohio, Hamilton, Ohio, when getting framed by our very own detective wasn't enough and I had to represent my own self and be my own attorney with making copies and sending them all out to everyone involved, winning my case, but not getting paid for the 4 years that you guys robbed me from my life and kept me in poverty, nor did I get a formal apology. When that wasn't enough, you sent your dirty little cop to my new community who drugged me on a date. The same cop who lived 2 or 3 houses down from this lawyer who told me I was facing 20 years back when your detective framed me. This is the same lawyer who is really good best friends with this sibling who just framed me and caused me to lose everything that I worked hard for. With this police officer living a few houses down from this attorney's office lets me know that they know each other, and this sibling also may know this officer since he is best friends with this attorney who tried to put me in jail for 20 years until my middle sibling jumped in out of guilt and hired me a proper attorney who let me out, who got me out on bond. So Hamilton Police Department, would you say this is just a coincidence or in cahoots? State of Ohio, your dirty little cop will not silence me. Here in Hamilton, Ohio, as you can see, I am the lawyer. I am the psychologist. I am the doctor. I am the psychic genius and whatever else you would like for me to be. And I didn't have to go to school nor get a degree to see in between the lines of the unjust and the enslavement that you are causing onto our communities in the poverty area. Not only under the Ohio law system, but within the Hamilton Police Department where it all started. Just wanted to bring awareness to some of the battles and challenges that we've encountered living in Hamilton, Ohio, and you know how many things of violence, abuse, traumas, and just being wrongfully treated by our law systems is being ignored and swept under the rugs. So if you guys want to, feel free to just check out some of my past and previous videos of sibling wars. I know I talked a lot about the law system and how they were harassing me, or you can just feel free to check out the rest of my content that is already, you know, titled, where you guys can just feel free to check them out. No, I still haven't got around to the Ohio employment video, but I'm going to get to it. I just wanted to bring extra awareness to a lot of the injustice and inequality, abusive, traumatic acts that we are experiencing under our Hamilton, Ohio law system that is being truly ignored and swept under the rug for many years. And we want to know, as the people of the community, who do we go in front of to build our community back up and to have resources for our single parents and to bring more mentors into our community while having our police officers become very big mentor to our youth. Instead of making them run from them, they can be helping them by inspiring them to become better. So as people of the community wants to ask Hamilton Police Department and our Ohio law system, what do we have to do to get the proper mentors, resources, organizations, and small owned business that we want and that we desire to make our community healthy, so we can get ahead in life and we can have the funding that we need to grow and to get out of poverty areas as well, because we want a better life too. We're not going to get a better life with our law enforcement putting traumas and abuse of framed and just all these malicious acts that is being swept under the rug. So we want to bring that behavior to an end. We want to get those people out of office, and we want to be treated like the citizens that we're supposed to be treated like in our community of the poverty areas. So Hamilton Police Department, as you can see, it's time to tighten up, get some people out of there who is not taking their job serious and who is putting traumas on the black community. We will not sit here and take this abuse anymore. We are standing up for ourselves as citizens, and we want to be treated fair as citizens under our Ohio law system. And we should not be ignored. You guys want to check out my Dear State of Ohio video and my Dear Homeowners Walking by Faith and Not by Sight. It explains a lot of things that I've been going through, a lot of battles and challenges where a sibling framed me and this police officer drugged me in the same month, and it just caused a big chaos for me where I'm now losing everything that I worked hard for. I don't have anything. They stripped me down. So if you guys want to donate to my Cash App under Jocelyn Lewis, it will help me keep my lights on this month and also help me figure out what I can do for the rest of this month and just, prepare for what's coming. If you guys don't, that is fine too. Just subscribe, like, share, and comment will help me help the community and help me help our youth. I'm very uncomfortable asking for donations, but at this time, this is all that I can do is just, deal with my humility and vulnerability and just go with the punches. I hope you guys were inspired. Please like, subscribe, feel free to share, but make sure you hit that subscribe. I love you all. Have a great week.